Welcome to episode 11 of Come On Amanda. Norm and Gary are having dinner together, father and son. And Gary is talking to Norm. He's saying, "Am I moving in, Dad? But I heard that your girlfriend, Amanda, is also moving in." And Norm is like, "Yes, well, she's not really my girlfriend, but she is the mother of my younger son." So, it's a very confusing situation overall for Gary, because not only will he be moving in with his father, who he's barely known up until recently, but he's going to be also living with a younger half-brother and a step-brother, as well as this woman that Norm has been seeing. But nonetheless, he's happy to get to know his dad better, and he's happy to have a proper house rather than living at that foster home for the last few months. But Norm goes to bed knowing that this is going to be his last night alone in the house, because after today it's going to get considerably more crowded. Yes, because not only will his son be moving in, but, as we know, also Amanda. He promised her that they would try being a family together to give a good atmosphere for George and Tom to grow up in. Because Amanda having a little bit of trouble on her own with the two boys. I mean, she's been raising them all right, but still, it's good to spread the burden around, if that makes any sense. And it's also good to give them a father figure, in George's case, his actual father. So, it is morning time once again. Paper delivery, as every day. And Norm is waking up and reflecting, because it is the end of his time as a single person, or at least living alone. Yes, he is very reluctant to give up his swinger lifestyle, but he and Amanda know each other. They know they both have the same lifestyle, and they're going to try not to hold each other down, even though living in the same house, that's going to be kind of difficult. But anyway, Norm calls Amanda. He knows it's time, so she's going to come in. So Norm comes down, doing his pimp walk for no reason. Yes. They definitely have very good chemistry. They get along well. And Amanda trusts that things will not sour between her and Norm like they did between her and Bruce. Norm's a much more engaging and friendly guy. He gets her a lot more than Bruce ever did. You know, Bruce was always very, very distant. It's the kind of guy that Bruce is. But Amanda doesn't want to think about Bruce anymore. And Amanda asks Norm, "Are you sure this will work? I mean, you know how we both are." And Norm says, "Well, that's alright. With the money that you're going to get from selling your old house, we'll have enough money to build a pretty nice extension onto this house. We won't even have to see each other if we don't want to, because we'll have enough room where we can each have our own private spaces. And don't worry, your boys will have plenty of room." So, Amanda says, "Okay, we're going to try this. No reason it shouldn't work." So, that's what they agree to. Of course, Amanda doesn't know about the other person who's going to be coming with him, but Norm says, "We'll cross that bridge when we get to it." So, now Amanda's part of the family, and here come the boys. Yes, it's not George's first time at this house, but it's his first time as a resident. And little Tom here, this really is his first time at the house. So, Amanda will bring him in to see everything for the first time. Yes, his first impression of Norm's swinging pad. But a swinging bachelor pad it will be no longer, because it is now time to expand. Now, what they've decided to do is something very, almost peculiar and a little bit different. Instead of building an expansion onto the house that exists already, they're going to build a new building right next to the old one in pretty much the same style, but it's going to be basically the equivalent of one floor lower. So what we're doing first is building the walkway. Four little stairs like that, 4 groups of stairs rather, will be the equivalent of one floor down. So I'm gonna build that little walkway so that Amanda and the boys can walk directly to their portion of the house if they want to. It's a good compromise, because, you know, if they want to all be together, they can do that, but if they want to be on their own, they can do that too. So that's going to be the front of where their house is going to be, and we're going to build a staircase coming over here from the little expansion on the back of the main part of the house. So I'll have to bring that foundation out a little bit. And now we will build out the bottom area for the first time. Yes, very nice little place that they'll have there in the same style of the rest of the house. So there's 2 ways to access it. They can get there from walking from the front down the walkway, or they can go down the back stairs. It's a very nice thing. Yes, and there's, even though it's a fairly small lot, there's still plenty of room in which to put this house. So, keeping with the same style, we're going to use the same doors and the same windows and the same everything else for a consistent style, which everyone will like. So we're expanding the wall here. We need, of course, rooms. We need a room for Amanda, of course, at least 1 bathroom, and we need room for each of the boys. But of course 2 bathrooms are going to be better, because 1 bathroom is fine and plenty for Norm, but it's nowhere near enough for the 4 of them. Especially when Tom becomes a little bit older and he is going to, you know, be using the big boy toilet like everyone else. So, Amanda's room will be built out in this direction. I mean, of course, if Amanda wants, she can always go up and sleep with Norm, but at nights where she doesn't want to, or has other plans, so to speak, she can simply come down here and spend time in her own little bedroom. And as we know, Norm, he probably won't have a problem with it, but you never know. A lot of things where they say we won't become emotionally attached, they do in the end, so it's something that they'll have to watch out for. But it matters little in the construction of the house. It's enough that the room is there. Yes, we're beginning to use more construction with walls that aren't at right angles, because it actually does improve the environment scores of Sims to have it like that, and it looks nice too. So we're going to change up the this end of the house. There's not quite enough room yet, so we're going to make it a little bit wider and give some more room for the boys. For whatever reason, though, it's not letting the foundation be put there, so we're going to just do that. And we're going to give the boys their own little area over here. And Amanda will even have her own little den. So pretty much a house within a house. The only thing that will not be there is a kitchen, because Norm's kitchen will be good enough for everyone. At least they'll have that area where they'll all be going, whether they want to or not. And I will assume they want to. They all like each other, for now at least. Alright. As we're copying the windows of the house, both the single and the double windows, to give them plenty of light, without overdoing it. Well, maybe overdoing it just a little bit, but you know, they like light in their rooms. So we're making sure there's plenty of that. Yes, the general layout of the house is pretty much complete. Time to make sure that all the brick is consistent. And there we go. There's a basic outline of the house. It looks very nice. It goes very well with the main part of the house. It's really too bad that I can't simply make a bottom floor to the main part of the house, but it just doesn't work that way. But it's okay. There's no sense complaining. Now, it's time to put wallpaper. Of course, something that takes a lot of agonizing over to pick the right things. Yes, we're even going to mimic the tile patterns of the rest of the house to give it a sense of unity. Because even though it's a separate building, we want it to be, we want people to still feel that it's part of the same structure, so to speak. So, we're going to do that. Going to have George's room right there, and Tom's room over here. Of course, he's still going to need his baby stuff for now, but in a few years, we should be able to give him his bed, just like his older brother. And even though we won't be having a complete kitchen, we'll still have a refrigerator so that Amanda doesn't have to walk all the way to the kitchen to get Tom his bottle. Yes, it's a very convenient thing to have that nearby. Right, and give her a her wardrobe, or whatever they call it. I've heard it called many things. I usually just call it a wardrobe or a dresser. But I've also heard it called like a bureau or something, but whatever. But anyway, making sure everyone has their wallpaper, everything is good. Put a little sink here, just because there's not one in either bathroom. And just for good measure, we're going to throw in a bookcase, so that Amanda can hang out and read and learn skills. And anyone can really hang out and learn skills there. It's a good thing. Just make sure there's a fire alarm and a burglar alarm, just in case. You can't be too careful with these things. Yes, and just to fill that out there. Not with that though, but with the same wood that's above there. Yeah, it's a very good thing. And that just about completes it. Just have to make sure that everything lines up. And yes, this is a new house. So, now the family is living in their nice expanded home. And it's time for some pancakes. All Sims like pancakes, just like in real life. Yes, Norm realizes he has to be a father not just to George, but to Tom as well. And Norm is ready for that role. You know, he was sort of thrust into fatherhood unexpectedly. I mean, he always knew that Gary existed, but didn't see him until recently. But for the first years of George's life didn't know he was there until Amanda brought him to his attention. Now George, I'm sure, is very happy to be finally sitting between his two natural biological parents in the house that they both live in. Yes, it's a complete family for George for the first time in his life. Yes, the memories of Bruce are still in his mind, and I'm sure they're very mixed memories, you know? Because on the one hand, it was quite a big house that they lived in, but on the other, you know, he never really was too close. But anyway, Norm and Amanda tell George, hey, why don't you go, you know, play out there in the rest of the house? Because it's time for the two of them to consummate their new life. Yes. How else can they celebrate beginning a new chapter of their life but by the way that they're both best known for doing? Yes, it's a very, you could say, expected thing. Not very surprising to anyone. But yes, once again, they both have pretty incredible chemistry. And it does wonders for their aspiration meters, which is always good, because it shoots them both up into the platinum. But no time to sit around and cuddle. There's plenty else to do. Amanda's going to take little Tom down to their portion of the house for the first time. Yes. Tom gets to see his room. I'm not sure if he has too many impressions of it as such a young boy, but he'll get used to it. Give him his little potty training here. Hopefully he will obtain the skill point. Because having your toddlers being able to go to the bathroom on their own is a very useful skill indeed. But as George practices the piano, Norm figures, well, it's time to call Gary. It's time to get this going. Well, George is taking out the trash when he sees Gary, his older half-brother. Yes, they both didn't know about each other until very recently, but now that they do, they're hitting it off quite well. Yes, George is quite happy to have an older brother, and Norm, or Gary rather, was an only child for most of his life, at least as far as he knew. Yes, he had no brothers and sisters before, but now he has George, and he's very happy. So, Norm greets Gary warmly, and decides to have a serious talk with his son. And Gary's ready to move in, and he thinks it's going to be great. But he asks, this girlfriend of yours, Amanda, will she accept me? She doesn't know who I am or anything. And Norm is like, yeah, she should. There's quite a bit of history, Norm says. And, basically, Norm feels Amanda owes her anyway. So, now it is time for Norm to spill the beans. Amanda's like, who's that guy? I've seen him around here often. And Norm's like, well, he's my son. Of course, Amanda's pretty shocked. But he's like, why haven't I seen him before, up until the last few months? Well, then Norm explains. Norm says, when I was in high school, I had a foreign exchange trip over to Japan. I lived there for a while. While I was there, I got a little friendly with one of the girls over there, and once I got back to America, I got a call and found out she was pregnant. Well, of course, there wasn't too much I could do. I was over here and she was over there. I was a good guy and I sent money and everything, but he grew up with his mom. But then there was a tragic accident. His mother died a few months ago. But Gary has come here to live for the last few months in a foster home. But now it's time for him to be part of the family. And Norm says, Amanda, why don't you go talk to Gary? Get to know him a little bit better. You'll like him. So, Amanda and Gary shoot the breeze a little bit, chat a little bit, but Amanda knows there's no reason she can say no. I mean, for several years she hid George from Norm. You know, didn't bother finding out who the father was. So, in a sense, she really can't say anything about the fact that Norm has this son that she hasn't known about for several years. And the way Amanda sees it, the more the merrier. So, they really hit it off together quite well. And it really is a great thing. George, being a smart little kid, knows what's going on. So he comes up to Amanda and he's like, can he move in? Can Gary move in? Please, 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 please. And Amanda says, yes, of course he can come in. We'll all be a big family. And of course, George is overjoyed. Because not only does he have both his parents in the house, he also has his older half-brother and his younger half-brother. Yes. And Norm says, thank you for accepting Gary into your life. So, now that Gary is moving into the house, it is time to build another little expansion. Turn on the sun for a little while. Yes. I have Apollo's powers. But anyway, we are going to build another outbuilding. This one much smaller, and this one is going to be on the same level as the main part of the house. This will basically be just a little bedroom for Gary. You know, he's a guy who I'm sure needs his privacy. So we're going to put that here. So that way he can sleep in his own little area, but for communal events and everything else, he can come back into the main part of the house. Yes. Now, to help them along financially, they had a little bit of money left over from Gary's mother's life insurance policy. So, if you see the code in the top left corner of the screen, it's just that money coming from his life insurance policy. Nothing else, just that. It's just a couple thousand anyway. And they're using it to build this little expansion here. Yes, of course Gary does miss his mother, but it's been about 6 months now, and he's getting used to living here, and he's getting closer to his father, someone he never really knew, but doesn't really hold anything against for not being there. I mean, of course, it was half a world away. But now they're all very happy to be one family. So we're going to give him, of course, his own alarm, because you never know, thieves might break into this room just as much as they might break into any other room. And we're going to give him his own little bathroom too. Yes, it's probably a good thing. That brings the grand total of bathrooms in the house up to 4, where at the beginning of the day there had just been 1. So, it's definitely a wonderful thing. Alright. A little bit more money from that life insurance policy, just to finish that bathroom. And like before, we're making it fit with the rest of the house with the type of windows and everything. So, we're going to have the same floors, same everything. And for a final touch, we're going to add some outdoor lights, because it's pretty dark, especially with that kind of brick. Alright. Oh, now it's all lit up. And now they're all a family. However, as wonderful as things might be, Amanda has a little bit of an anxiety crisis. She is not one to be tied down, and she's worried that the lifestyle that she's living is coming to an end. So to that end, she's very sneakily gone over to the phone and called a certain someone to come in. Now, and here that certain someone is. Alex, just coming off from his job at the hospital, sneaking over to the new house. While the rest of them eat dinner, Amanda says, I'm not too hungry right now. So she comes out to greet her lover, her other lover. And, of course, he asks her, "Hi, how you doing? How's everything going with the new house and everything?" But of course, they both know it's exchanging pleasantries because, they're going to be exchanging something a little less solid in a few minutes here. But anyway, the boys are all eating their dinner, chatting it up. Very happy to be all here together. Yes. They're going to have a lot of catching up to do, especially George and Gary. I'm sure George wants to know all about what it was like growing up in Japan and all that kind of stuff. And Norm is going to want to know a little bit about George, where he came from, what it was like living in a huge mansion for the first few years of his life. But, as you might expect, Norm has exactly the same issue that Amanda does. He doesn't want to give up his swinging lifestyle either, so he calls one of his other lady friends from the town to come on over. Well, Amanda and Alex do their thing, and Amanda tells him, "Well, you better leave. It's my first night here. I don't want Norm to get all pissed off." But Amanda's pretty tired, so that's about time for her to go to bed. But Norm comes out here and greets his lady friend. Yes, he's been going out with, well, not going out, but, having a thing with Trista for a while now. So she's like, "Oh, I heard that Amanda moved in." And Norm's like, "Yeah, but she's in the back. She's not going to hear us. As long as we're quiet." So they're going to sneak in. Not that Norm really cares too much about what Amanda thinks, but yes, Trista sneaks her way into the bedroom, and, well, Norm figures 2 in 1 day is not bad, and he's had a shower between the two of them, so there's no, lingering odors that might exist. And meanwhile, everyone else is going to bed. Yes, first night in the house for everybody, except Norm, of course, but, it's kind of like his first night, too. Yep, and no better way to celebrate. Yeah, it's a new life filled with lots of responsibility, but, he is who he is, and he's not going to change, at least not without a fight. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Amanda, welcome to your new life. Hopefully, it will go well. I hope everyone enjoyed watching, and I'll see you all later for some more exciting stuff. Goodbye.